Mandy and I welcome you back to day number 8 of reading the Bible in a year. We are on day number 8 and we are starting our second week, and I'm so glad that you came back and you're hanging in there with us. Today we're going to be reading through the Psalms. Remember that I like to highlight those verses in pink. We are doing Psalms chapter 3 through 5, and the first Psalm is a Psalm of David. Psalm 3, a Psalm of David when he fled from his son Absalom. O Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against me? Many are saying of me, God will not deliver him. Selah. But you are a shield around me, O Lord. You bestow glory on me and lift up my head. To the Lord I cry aloud, and he answers me from his holy hill. If I lie down and sleep, I wake again, because the Lord sustains me. I will not fear the tens of thousands drawn up against me on every side. Arise, O Lord, deliver me, O my God. Strike all my enemies on the jaw. Break the teeth of the wicked. From the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessing be on your people. And I like this commentary by Pastor Tony Evans, verses 5 and 6. Whether David lay down to sleep or awoke to a new day, he recognized that God, not his own strength or ability, sustained him. And if he couldn't even sustain himself through the daily act of sleeping, how much less could he do so during a rebellious uprising? Trusting in God's sustaining power, David would not fear thousands who stood against him. He had a great sense of peace and calm from God in spite of his difficulties. When our circumstances overwhelm us, we are called to look to the same God of peace. And while I have had some hard times in life, I have never had tens of thousands of people against me. So just like David, we need to not worry and not fret, but we just need to stop. Lift our eyes and our hearts and our voices up to God and ask for his guidance and his blessing on our lives and follow where he leads. Psalm 4, for the director of music with stringed instruments, a psalm of David. Answer me when I call to you, O my righteous God. Give me relief from my distress. Be merciful to me and hear my prayer. How long, O men, will you turn my glory into shame? How long will you love delusions and seek false gods? Know that the Lord has set apart the godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call to him. In your anger, do not sin. When you are on your beds, search your hearts and be silent. Selah. Offer right sacrifices and trust in the Lord. Many are asking, who can show us any good? Let the light of your face shine upon us, O Lord. You have filled my heart with greater joy, that when their grain and new wine abound. I will lie down and sleep in peace, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. I love verse 8. I actually say this every night before I go to bed. I will lie down and sleep in peace, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. That's a great verse you might want to memorize and just say every night before you go to sleep, and you'll have sweet dreams. Psalm number 5, for the director of music for flutes, a psalm of David. Give ear to my words, O Lord. Consider my sighing. Listen to my cry for help, my King and my God, for to you I pray. In the morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning I lay my requests before you and wait in expectation. You are not a God who takes pleasure in evil. With you the wicked cannot dwell. The arrogant cannot stand in your presence. You hate all who do wrong. You destroy those who tell lies. Bloodthirsty and deceitful men the Lord abhors. But I, by your great mercy, will come into your house. In reverence will I bow down toward your holy temple. Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness. Because of my enemies, make straight your way before me. And right here, I've got a little note that I need to follow him every second. That was way back in 2019. Verse 9, not a word from their mouth can be trusted. Their heart is filled with destruction. Their throat is an open grave. With their tongue they speak deceit. Declare them guilty, O God. Let their intrigues be their downfall. Banish them for their many sins, for they have rebelled against you. But let all who take refuge in you be glad. Let them ever sing for joy. And right there I've got, get your praise on, people. Spread your protection over them, that those who love your name may rejoice in you. For surely, O Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield. I like this commentary starting on verse 8. David needed guidance to do the right thing, given the adversaries he was facing. He recognized that righteousness is found in God alone. Therefore, he needed God to lead him so that he could operate in sync with what God viewed as right. In contrast, his foes were unrighteous. He describes their throats as an open grave. This means he found their words to be full of deceit, with murderous intent. There was nothing reliable in what they said. He calls on God to punish them because the rebellion against him was ultimately against God. David also prays that their own schemes would be used against them, just as God would reverse the actions of Haman against God's people and cause his wicked plot to fall on his own head. From Esther 3-8, David asked that the plots of his enemies would cause their own downfall because they were actually scheming against God. That's actually something comforting for us to remember when people do scheme and plot against us or treat us unfairly or go behind our backs or anything like that, that they're actually scheming against God and doing harm against God because we are God's people. So don't take it so personally. And people who are not with God, they can't go along with his plan because they don't even know the right way to go. So we just need to keep focusing on God, keep ourselves on the right path, just keep doing the right thing and trusting him even in the hardest of times. Thanks again for joining us for day 8 as we read these 3 Psalms, and come back tomorrow to hear more of God's Word. And I would love to answer any question you may have about the Bible, about how to put your faith in Jesus. Just contact me through my website, nancyjoy2you.com, or you can email me at nancyjoy2you, that's the number 2 and the letter U, @gmail.com.